Welcome, welcome to Walking the Path. I'm so grateful to have you guys here. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm just getting this one thing adjusted. And there we go. All right. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to Walking the Path. I'm so grateful to be walking the path with you. I'm walking the path today in Tucson, Arizona, my hometown. I was born and raised in Tucson. I'm here visiting family. How grateful I am in this amazing world that we get to live in, where we can fly to places and reconnect. And I'm also realizing how important it is that we give energy to the relationships that are important to us. You know, we have to nurture and cultivate the relationships that we find meaningful. If we don't cultivate them, if we don't give energy to them, they won't flourish. Just like these beautiful plants behind me. We have to feed them and water them and cultivate them. Blessings, Diego. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming in and streaming in. I'm so grateful that you're here. Hey, Kelly, what's up? Um, so grateful. Um, so I'm in Tucson. I'm visiting family, and rythmia is going on right now. Amazing. I'm keeping up with what's going on while I'm away, and seeing all the beautiful transformation that's happening every week that happens there, because people are giving energy and nurturing themselves there. We give energy to ourselves. We give energy where our attention goes, our energy flows. So where we place our attention is where our energy flows. So right now we're going to place our attention a little bit on something that I've been really contemplating recently, and that is, what do we say in the dark times? What do we say when things aren't going our way? And is it just like, oh, well, you can just, be positive and like cover up, put your head in the sand, and just pretend that everything's fine? Look at that hummingbird right behind me. Oh my God. Hummingbirds everywhere. So cool. So, what do we say when things go wrong? Kind of that old question, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do bad things happen to good people? Is the universe punishing me? Is the universe trying to tell me something? Like I shouldn't be going down this way? Am I listening to the signs? Is this a sign? You know, is this a sign that I've done something wrong? Am I being punished? What have I done to deserve this? Why are things going wrong? Why does this happen? You know, what do we say to that? And I've been contemplating this, and the question then becomes, how do we approach the difficult situations in our lives? I had a client say to me recently, I don't want to pray because I prayed and it didn't work. I prayed and it didn't work. Well, that's a heavy statement, man. So we're praying for a particular outcome, but here's the one thing that I know: we have to resort to principle, and the principle is that everything is unfolding in absolute divine perfection. That life is for itself. Life is for itself. Life always wants more life. Life will find a way. The universe by nature is expansive. The universe is expansive, and always expanding, always growing, always extending itself. So if the universe is expansive and always extending itself, always expanding, if life is for itself, then everything has to be for us. But then things happen that don't seem like they're for us. How do we deal with those things? And this is the topic today. We were made for those types of situations. We were made we were made to bring the light into the darkest times. That's what we were made for. We were made to bring the light into the darkest times. That's our purpose. Our purpose is to see the light no matter what the appearances are, to not be caught up in appearances, to not get caught up in the circumstances of things. So when we ask questions like, why is this happening to me? Is the universe punishing me? Is the universe trying to tell me something? Everything's a feedback loop, yes. And those aren't very empowering questions. We want to ask empowering questions. We want to ask questions like, what's seeking to emerge here? If everything is for me, if the universe is for me, if the universe is fundamentally expansive and life is for itself, then everything that's happening has to be within the context of life being for itself. This is what it means to say that there's no outside of God. There's no outside of the infinite consciousness, the mind energy of the divine. Everything is within the consciousness, the mind energy of the divine. So if something is happening, we don't ask, why is this happening to me? Or we don't ask, get me out of this situation. We ask an empowering question like, what is being asked of me here? What is life asking of me here? What is seeking to emerge here? What is the highest good here? What's the best case scenario here? What am I at? What is being asked? What must I become in order to meet this situation? These are empowering questions. And fundamentally, I've been thinking about this in terms of something that I learned very recently from a class that I took with Reverend Joanne Coleman at Agape on 5 Aramaic words that heal. And there were 6 places in the Bible where the Aramaic is still in the King James Bible. They didn't translate it. And one of those areas is when Yeshua was on the cross. And there's a moment when he's on the cross and he says, what's translated in the King James Bible is, why have you forsaken me? Why have you forsaken me? And the thought comes like, okay, there's this guy, his name was Yeshua, and he's been traveling around the desert. People have been following him for years. He's been preaching this gospel of forgiveness and redemption. He's been preaching this message that God loves us, that there's a presence that loves us and that is only for us and does not judge us, that turns the other cheek, that only sees the best in us, that we can heal in this presence. We can heal our hearts. We can become one with that presence, and we too can calm the storm. That's his message. And then in the middle of the storm, when he's on the cross, the biggest storm of his life, he loses faith. I mean, that's the translation. Why have you forsaken me? Why have you forsaken me? That's the disempowering question. That's not what he said. In the Aramaic, what he said was, Yama Yama Eli Shwabatin. And Shwabatin is left. And it's not, why did you leave me? It's, this is why I was left here. This is why. This is why I was put here. That's actually what he said in Aramaic on the cross. What does that mean? This is why. This is why I was made. I was made for this moment to overcome death. I was made for this moment to see the light in the darkest of times, to see the good in what is seemingly, apparently bad. That's his message. He didn't lose faith when he was on the cross. He was declaring victory. This is what Reverend Joanne taught in this class, and I just love this teaching. He was declaring victory over the darkness, over what appeared to be dark. You can't even touch me now. You can't touch this, is what he was saying. You can't touch this. You can't hurt me. I'm claiming victory. I'm seeing the light in the darkest of times. I'm overcoming the sting of death. I'm not attached to my body. There's something more than this material world. And it's much more. And I'm identifying with that, so that whatever you do to this, you can't touch it. You can't touch the eternal within me. I see the light even in what appears to be dark. That's his message. We were made for this. That's what he was saying. I was made for this. And that's what we were made for. We were made to see the light in the darkness. We were made to look to look beyond circumstance and condition and see the blessing. We were made to look beyond what appears to be bad and see that no matter what the appearances are, God is all there is. The mind energy of the divine is all there is. And the mind energy of the divine is always for itself. It never It never wants less of itself. It always wants more of itself, and it only knows its own fulfillment. It only knows the best and highest good. So even though it might appear to be bad, good is emerging. How do we know this? Well, we can prove it in nature. What we can prove in nature is that all things seek homeostasis. All things seek balance, order, and harmony. That's a biological law. We also know in nature that we see this biological law, and it's a biological and physical law called the Kurimoto equation. And the Kurimoto equation says that all systems, biological and physical, seek order, balance, and harmony. So no matter what the appearance is, order, balance, and harmony are seeking to emerge. No matter what the circumstance is, if the clarity that confusion is always a precursor to clarity. That disorder is always a precursor to order. That disharmony is always a precursor to harmony. So no matter what the appearances are, harmony is seeking to emerge. Order is seeking to emerge. Beauty is seeking to emerge. Consciousness, higher good is seeking to emerge. No matter what the appearances are, everything is always unfolding. And we also see in nature that things move through cycles, that in nature, inevitably, what was bad turns good and what was good turns bad when we apply the judgment of good and bad to it. So the next thing that's being asked is to remove our judgment. Isn't that also what Yeshua's message was? Judge not. Remove our judgment from situations and circumstances so that we can see clearly, so that we can see the truth beyond the opinion. If you look behind me, there's a play of light and dark. And light and dark are over, like, it's like if you were driving down a road, a road and it had trees and the light was shining through the trees and there was light and dark on the road, shadow and light on the road, and you couldn't tell if that was just a shadow or a pothole. The light and dark are obscuring the street below. Our opinions, good and bad, are obscuring the truth of the situation. So we must first locate ourselves in, okay, I was made for this. I was made to bring the light into the dark, into the apparent darkness. I was made to see that things aren't always what they appear to be, that everything turns from one thing to another. The rose is a blossom, it's a bud, and then it blossoms and it flowers and then it dies and then it's rebirthed. There's winter and everything loses its leaves. It looks like it's all dying. And then there's spring. Everything has what appears to be bad ends up being good. What appears to be good ends up being bad when we place our judgment on it. That there is this cycle to life, this rhythm to life. And so when we remove our judgment, we can see more clearly. We were made for this. We were made to rise above the circumstance and condition and see the beauty and truth behind it. We were made to bring the light into the darkest, apparently darkest of times. And when we can do that, we rise above the illusion. We rise above the illusion of good and bad and see the truth that only one thing is happening. And so that's when we ask these empowering questions. If we know that principle, when the inevitable shift hits the fan, we can say, I was made for this. There's some good here. Let me see it. There's something seeking to emerge here. What is it? There's something greater here. Let me see it. This is the message of Yeshua. This is the message of, this is why I was left here. This is his victory cry on the cross. And this is what we get to bring into our lives. We were made for this. Whatever you're going through, whatever appears to be dark, whatever appears to be overwhelming, we were made to see the light even in the darkest of times. And there is only light. There really is no darkness. How is that true? Okay, there's another physical law. Quantum physics tells us that we can never get to absolute zero. That there's something hot, something definitely hot, and there's something definitely cold. I can put my hand in ice, that's cold. I can put my hand on a heating element, that's hot and cold. But if we can never get to absolute zero, meaning no matter how cold it gets, we can never get to an absolute zero, because there's always on the quantum level some movement. There's always a movement of filament at some level. Therefore, there's heat. If there's movement, there's heat. So no matter how cold it gets, there's still heat. That means that there really is no hot and cold. There's just an expression of more or less heat. It's the same with light and dark. There really is no light and dark. There's just light, more or less light. Where we choose to reside on that scale, that spectrum of more or less light, that's our choice. That's where we get to choose. That's where we get to bring the light into what appears to be dark. That's our job. That's what we were made for. That's why we're here. And it's a conscious choice. We get to choose in the moment. And it takes us asking empowering questions. There's another hummingbird right back there. Look at that guy. Ha! Something good is happening. So I think that's the talk for today. That's really the intention of today's talk, is that we get to choose. We get to choose, and it takes a conscious choice. It takes us remembering spiritual principle that life is for itself, that life never goes against itself, that there's always light. There's never, the darkness isn't real. It's just an appearance of less light. And we get to choose. And when we choose the light, we fan the embers. If it's so dark, there's only just a little ember, we get to fan those embers and bring the light back. We get to where we place our attention, our energy goes. So we place our attention on the light and our energy goes to the light and we bring more light. Our job, we were made for this. We were made for the appearance of these dark times so that we can bring the light. It's our choice. The world of darkness is an illusion. The only truth is that which is real, that which is good, that which is enduring, that which is unchanging, that which is light. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for checking this out. I'm wishing you much love. I'm super excited to share this with you, and I'm grateful for you. And I'm just sending you. So shall we say a little prayer? Shall we just be so grateful in this moment? So grateful and so thankful for this life. I'm so grateful and so thankful for these teachings. I'm so grateful and so thankful for the teachers that teach us these teachings that lead us from darkness into light. I'm so grateful. I recognize the divine in everything. There's not one spot where God is not. There's not one spot where the presence of light, beauty, love, intelligence is not. It's always there. And so we seek it even in the darkness of times. We know that there's light there, even though it doesn't appear to be. We don't get caught up in appearances. So I recognize God in everything. I recognize the presence in everything. And I know that I am one with it, that I can't be outside of it because I didn't create myself. I was created from something. I was created from this intelligence, from this consciousness. Therefore, I am consciousness itself. You are consciousness itself. We are one with the consciousness. And in this realization of oneness, as we join Yeshua ben Yusuf in his ecstatic statement that I and the presence are one, it is not I, but the spirit within that does the work. We know that our oneness, that the light is always there. The light is always within us, that it's never absent from us, no matter what the appearances are. If we have but eyes to see and ears to hear, we must choose. So I know that that whatever we are, whatever we're doing, in whatever way, wherever we are on our path, it's the perfect place, that we're on the perfect road, that each one is on their perfect royal road to their path to fulfillment. We need not worry, for the infinite intelligence, the great plan of love is active in each life, leading us to an ever-increasing good, to ever-widening fields of awareness, and to an ever deeper connection with the source of all of life, a deeper realization of our oneness with that source. So sending a prayer out now to all those who are suffering, all those who are caught in the illusion of darkness. This prayer is a prayer of light, a prayer of love, knowing that there is only light and there is only love, that it reaches them, that they are wrapped in this light, this infinite intelligence, the light of infinite intelligence, that they're wrapped in the warmth of infinite love, the heat of this infinite love, that the embers of their heart are fanned into the flame of love, that we receive this message. Each one receives the message of Yeshua, that we can mend our hearts. We can heal our hearts. We can stop. We can lay down our swords of condemnation and judgment towards ourselves. We can end the inner civil war. lay down our arms towards ourself, our judgment and condemnation of self, and see the light within and rise above. This is what we were made for, to see the light within and rise above and bring that light everywhere we go. Bring this message everywhere we go. I'm so grateful and so thankful for this truth. I'm so grateful and so thankful, and I release this word knowing it's already done. And I say, and so it is. Amen, Ashe, Aho, Ache, Ache Pati, and Satnam. All right. Peace. Much love.